The president has just made some huge decisions that are immediately going to affect millions of people in this country. From ending Section 8 to gain-of-function research, we're going to cover everything the legacy media isn't sharing with you. And we're going to start things off with the news that Donald Trump is seriously bringing an end to the Section 8 program.
Okay, if you have not heard, President Trump would like to eliminate Section 8 housing choice vouchers being subsidized by the federal government. He would like to leave that up to the states to do that if they want to, so your state wouldn't have to. And he also wants to cap the time you could be on Section 8 to 2 years. He wants to put a work requirement on it, meaning if you're able-bodied, you have to work 40 hours a week to continue to receive it.
I hate this bill. I wish this bill did not have to exist. I don't want to send $66 million of a housing budget that is $160 million a year to pay for something that the federal government has a contract to do. But I am not, at this point, confident enough to adjourn for this year and know that those people's vouchers are safe. I hope they are. I hope that this bill ends up meaning nothing.
Now, the Trump administration has been talking about cutting the budget for the Department of Housing and Urban Development for a while now.
First of all, HUD has failed in its most basic mission over the last several years, and that's to serve the most vulnerable population of our country. Is this program helping us to fulfill this mission, or is this program not helping us to fulfill this mission? And if it's not, then we need to get rid of it.
However, most people are shocked since no one expected the administration to say they're going to end these programs altogether. Now, of course, the liberal media was quick to criticize this plan by saying it would make millions of people homeless overnight. And they're not wrong. Over 9 million people were living in subsidized units only a year ago. And we also know that the average income for the families using Section 8 housing is only about 1/5 of the national average. So I totally agree that this will affect the most financially vulnerable people in our society. And yet online I see so many people supporting this plan.
You've been on Section 8 for like 15 years, right? You've never paid a single dollar for groceries, right? In fucking 15 years. You never had to do shit, and now y'all are hating Trump because he's making you get a fucking job. You know what? Fuck yes!
I personally don't agree with a lot of things Trump is saying, but this one specific thing makes sense to me. To all the people that's on Section 8, he is giving y'all 2 years to get on your feet. Trump said stop being dependent and become independent. I agree. I'm not no hating ass bitch. I'm not knocking nobody's situation. But if you really think about it, Section 8 is only to assist you to get on your feet. Section 8 is a stepping stone to get you on your feet. Section 8 is not something you should depend on for the rest of your life.
The mainstream media, of course, will not show you this support, but the question is, why are ordinary Americans standing up against this program? Well, in essence, there are two major reasons. The first one is the absolute greed created by this one program. I mean, there are entire channels telling you how you can buy up cheap properties to get rich from Section 8 investing.
2 years ago, I was broke. Now the government pays me $53,000 every single month.
I'm 22 years old and I'm worth over $5 million. And my business model is called Section 8 Arbitrage. I'm buying houses from $30,000 to $100,000 and I rent them to tenants who have a Section 8 voucher, which allows me to get guaranteed rents every single month directly from the government.
Antega, excuse me. Hi, what do you do for a living? Your car's sick.
I appreciate it, bro. I own about 60 Section 8 rental properties.
Oh!
And these people are not subtle.
I buy dirt cheap properties in the Midwest that are priced at about $100,000, and I rent out all of these houses to tenants on the Section 8 program, which means the government is paying their rents for them.
They are straight up admitting how the houses they buy barely even pass the requirements for this program, and the main purpose is to make money at the expense of American taxpayers. But these small investors aren't the main problem. There are huge investment firms that are building tens of thousands millions of affordable homes in this country and use them for the Section 8 program. I mean, this company called the Michaels Organization has more than 47,000 affordable units across the U.S., and many of them are used for Section 8 housing. And if you're wondering what kind of investors this company has, well, you definitely know some of them. It has received investments from real estate giants like Blackstone and has worked with investment firms like Goldman Sachs. So essentially, you and I are paying these multi-billion-dollar companies through the Section 8 program. I mean, you can see why people are not a fan of this. Another reason why many people are supporting Donald Trump's decision is the impact of Section 8 housing on residential neighborhoods. You have to understand that these investors target multiple houses in small communities at once. And we also know not all Section 8 residents are law-abiding citizens, and that's why people are saying this program destroys entire neighborhoods. And as for the third reason, the people are standing with Donald Trump on this issue because he's saying the money should go to the states, and they should figure out their own methods to address the housing shortage. Now, I don't know about you, but I think it's only fair since every state is responsible for its own housing crisis.
I have sensory integration disorder and I need a lot of help in school sometimes. With the help of my awesome teachers and staff at Makawa Elementary School, I was able to get back on track. Since the August wildfires, I've seen our community come together to help. Even if people didn't have much to give, they gave what they could. They gave money, their time, and compassion. We were evicted from my childhood home that I've lived in since I was 1. It is the only home that I know. Our landlord wanted more money when he saw people getting $5,000 to $10,000 a month for their homes. My parents tried to fight back and get some help from the Attorney General's office, but no one helped us. We moved out a couple weeks ago when my parents finally found a rental after looking for the past 6 months. Our rent is now 2.5 times our old rent, and I see my parents stressing to figure out how to pay it.
Just in case you're wondering how much an apartment in California costs, this lovely place has a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and is renting for $2,779.
Do we have an actual number of illegal immigrant health care that the state taxpayers are covering in this year's budget?
In the current year, to cover undocumented individuals in Medi-Cal, we're spending $9.5 billion total funds.
So it's not the $6 billion that people continue to talk about in the media. It's $9.5 billion.
It was a Budget Act number. This is a revised number based on the governor's budget updated estimates. So of the $9.5 billion, $8.4 billion is general fund.
$8.4 billion in general funds. So that's, well, if we cut that, at least using your math, we'd have a $1 billion surplus, my friends. We wouldn't have to go into the rainy day fund.
If rents are going up in Hawaii or California, the states should address why this is happening instead of relying on federal programs that are not solving their problems. Now, I've shown you guys exactly how certain people are making Americans homeless in a previous video, so make sure you check that out if you want to learn more about this issue. If you're a homeowner, you need to listen to this. When's the last time you checked on your home title? That's the legal proof you own your house, and if you're like me, the answer is never. The problem is, in today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles and your equity is the target. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee with your county, and boom, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they take out loans using your equity or even sell your property. You won't even know it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice. That's why you need to stop what you're doing and find out today if you're already a victim. Use promo code HUSTLE at HomeTitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report, plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alert to any changes, and if fraud should happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Use promo code HUSTLE. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code HUSTLE. Now our next topic involves gain-of-function research.
The first relates to gain-of-function research. Gain-of-function research is a type of biomedical research where pathogens are adulterated, viruses are adulterated to make them more potent or to change the way that they function. What this executive order does, first of all, it provides powerful new tools to enforce the ban on federal funding for gain-of-function research abroad. It also strengthens other oversight mechanisms related to that issue and creates an overarching strategy to ensure that biomedical research in general is being conducted safely and in a way that ultimately protects human health more.
It's a big deal. It could have been that we wouldn't have had the problem we had. Right?
A lot of people say that, sir.
If we had this done earlier. Thank you.
I mean, this isn't even surprising since so many agencies and people, including our own president, have said that this kind of research is dangerous for the entire world.
In one sentence, can you provide a definition of gain-of-function research? And I say that because there becomes little semantics sometimes, I believe, within the scientific community of what is a chimera and what is gain of function.
Yeah, I think it's to take a pathogen and try to increase one of two things or both, to increase its transmissibility or its pathogenicity.
Gain-of-function research has the potential to unleash a global pandemic that threatens the lives of millions. Yet this is the first time the issue has been discussed in a congressional committee. I'm sure each member of this committee, as well as the full Senate, can agree that we need stronger government oversight of how our tax dollars are being used to finance experimenting with possibly fatal diseases.
Looking at all of this, I think this is a huge win for us, and I'm glad the president was quick to address this issue. Now, next up, I want to talk about the Pope controversy. I'm sure you've all heard how the president posted a picture of himself as the Pope recently. And, of course, people went nuts over it.
No respect for any religion except himself.
Even if they do this in jest, and J.D. Vance came out and said that this is a joke or he can take this as a joke, he ultimately is pushing the boundaries of what we think is acceptable, normal, joking behavior. Donald Trump is not a comedian.
Non era buono. No.
Can you say that in English?
He asked me about the president appearing as the Pope. Yeah. I hope he didn't have anything to do with that.
Are you offended by that?
Well, it wasn't good.
They were already angry that the president looked sleepy during the Pope's funeral.
Controversy began to overshadow this solemn occasion. The 78-year-old was caught on camera, seemingly asleep during the somber ceremony.
For whatever reason, even though the Vatican dress code specifically recommended a dark suit for the service, Trump showed up in his bluest blue suit.
However, the media started saying how this was disrespectful to the Catholics, and for the first time, they even showed angry X-posts aimed at Donald Trump. Well, the president finally addressed it, and I want you to hear what he said.
Some Catholics were not so happy about the image of you looking like the Pope.
Oh, I see. You mean they can't take a joke? You don't mean the Catholics, you mean the fake news media. Not the Catholics loved it. I had nothing to do with it. Somebody made up a picture of me dressed like the Pope, and they put it out on the internet. That's not me that did it. I have no idea where it came from. Maybe it was AI, but I know nothing about it. I just saw it last evening. Actually, my wife thought it was cute. She said, "Isn't that nice?" Actually, I would not be able to be married, though. That would be a lot. I'd have to the best of my knowledge, popes aren't big on getting married, are they? Not that we know of. No. I think it's the fake news media that, they're fakers.
My question, though, sir, was about the fact that it was put out on the White House account. Even though it was AI generated, it was a joke, it was a meme. Does it at all diminish the substance of the official White House account to have it go out on that?
Give me a break. It was just somebody did it in fun. It's fine. Have to have a little fun, don't you?
Look, you can say this joke was distasteful, but you can't deny that the media and some nut jobs are making a fuss over it for no reason.
Look, I think it was a bad joke. I think it was kind of a sophomoric attempt at humor. I don't think at all it represents some, disdain for the Catholic Church or some attack on the Catholic Church.
I mean, this isn't the first time someone has mocked the church.
I love the Olympics, so I turn on the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. What do I see now? And it's in Paris, France, a city I love. I spent 3 years as a doctoral student there. What do I see but this gross mockery of the Last Supper? and I won't describe it any further. Just go online. It's gone viral. You can see it. But France felt evidently, as it's trying to put its best cultural foot forward, the right thing to do is to mock this very central moment in Christianity where Jesus, at his Last Supper, gives his body and blood in anticipation of the cross.
It was spectacular. The rain did not dampen our spirits. And Casey, honestly, every step of the way, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, how are we going to top this? How are we going to top this?
So this is just part of the crazy campaign to somehow blame Donald Trump for the Pope's death, and you can bet the people who were behind those conspiracies are the ones getting mad over this. Moving on, I want to talk about the 2028 election. Now, we already know what kind of candidates the Democrats have for the next election.
Who saw that video from a couple of weeks ago? The one of the elephants at the San Diego Zoo during the earthquake? Google it if you've not seen it. So that scene has been on my mind. Everybody's asking me what you've been thinking about these days.
Well, as for the Republicans, some people were floating the idea of Trump running again.
Most nations are not fortunate to have a man like Trump show up. In our country, as great as some of our presidents and military leaders and others have been, we've had two before him that have stood out. So roughly every 100 or 150 years. You got to play this hand out. We got to play it all the way out.
I haven't said we're going to amend the Constitution. We're working on 5 or 6 different alternatives that President Trump could run again and be president. And quite frankly, I think 4 or 5 of them are going to work.
People are even selling hats for Trump's next campaign. However, the president has finally squashed all these theories in a recent interview.
If you're not successful this time, do you see yourself running again in 4 years?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I think that will be it. I don't see that at all.
He also gave a hint as to who will likely be the next GOP frontrunner in 2028.
Who do you see as your successor, Mr. President?
Well, it's far too early to say that, but I do have a vice president, and typically it would be, and JD's doing a fantastic job, but certainly you would say that somebody's the VP. If that person is outstanding, I guess that person would have an advantage.
Now, looking at the Democratic candidates, I think JD Vance can win easily, but let's make one thing clear. He will not have the kind of support Donald Trump enjoyed unless he does something big. Now, what that might be, only time will tell. However, I want you guys to tell me what you think about this imminent demise of the Section 8 program. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next video.